Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description.
Remember, when we start to see parabolas, we have to take a breath, I think. We look at things like CoreWeave, and there's another one, Nebius, which I've been looking at, which is the old Yandex, which is interesting. It's like the poor man's CoreWeave. So there's some interesting plays out there, but CoreWeave has just gone kind of parabolic. And I think that's what markets do, right?
Yeah, but that's not fair. We can't use CoreWeave any more than we can use a penny stock. This is Magnetar sponsored. Anyone who doesn't know Magnetar, Google it. So they're the subject of all the great financial crisis. So I don't even look at that one. It's not a tell for me. That is a tale of grift for me. So it doesn't even qualify. I don't even look at it in my trading room.
You don't even talk about it there? Okay.
Nope, I refuse. Because it's not, what is the expression when Buffett is talking about poker and he says, if you don't know who the shark is, you're the bait?
Yes.
That is 100% CoreWeave. So yes, you can, it's the day trader's delight, but no. Otherwise, you can make money on all kinds of grift plays. Look at crypto and the whole universe of these treasury balance sheet driven no-name companies that all of a sudden are relevant with high valuations and are getting day traded.
Right.
It's just not my jam.
And it always makes sense, right? It's always justified when it happens. And then Square trades at 400 times earnings. And then 2 years later, it's lost 80% of its value. And then we go, oh, wait, valuation was important. So there's no question. It's easy to get caught up in the manias. I think valuations, if you look at least the larger names, really aren't that expensive. I was looking at MAG. MAG's different. These are different things. CoreWeave is not NVIDIA. So there's definitely a little bit of exuberance out there. MAG isn't that expensive. It's versus the S&P 493. It's at average is about 43% premium. And that's where it's at. So it's
really base your trading on valuation? Because I know I do not. I don't short it based on it. I don't buy it based on it. So your hood, for example, is hot fire flames because it's getting included potentially in S&P and other reasons because Bitcoin is bid or because it's transaction based and going into gambling, whatever the reason, but the valuation is whacked. So is it for waste management. Walmart, Costco just had a great earnings report. It's ridiculously priced for valuation. So I never look at valuation as a reason for the season as far as a trade is concerned.
Oh, I think that's very fair. And I do look at it. I like to look at those measures just to get an idea of how much more crazy can things get, right? So I like to look at, it's all kind of relative, right? If everything's trading at crazy levels, well, then that's the regime. And that's the one that you trade around and you look version to the mean and things. But you're right. It's about story. Some of the stories are strong, and then the Netflixes and the Costcos and maybe AI now again is picking up on that. And so that's what we're going to play. But
we also talked about, for example, 𝐼RCAT this morning. You and Mike both own 𝐼RCAT.
I do own it. I've been riding it. I bought it at 5.25. I watched it go to 8. I didn't do anything. It went down to 460. I didn't do anything. I'm in the not do any. It's just watching it sometimes it's a train wreck and sometimes it gets me excited. But look.
But that's what I mean. We have very different styles because that is, again, a day trader's delight, but it's not something that for me is a viable play. If you zoom out, I have to show you this because I understand why it's exciting. And then we got to go answer some questions in here because we're getting lots of questions actually about stocks. So we can look through that. I actually posted, this is 𝐼RCAT. And by the way, anyone who's not familiar, I run a live trading room and I always have it on different time frames, an hour, a day, and a weekly for those who are more chase inclined, swing, or trend. And this is obviously a beautiful pullback that has just hagged the April high. It really needs to get back above 846 to trigger more. But now, and it has a nice inverse head and shoulder. So for example, Mike, my live trading room coordinator, one of our coordinators on the desk, we've got 10 in total. He is long and strong, the flying taxis, drones, the quantum, very much so. And he's long this. And I know that you are long this as well. But if you look back, okay, this was $20,000. This is a plaything. So I understand it has a new life and it's gorgeous, by the way. If I didn't do this, I wouldn't ignore it completely. But because I do that, I'm like, yeah, that's somebody else has control. I don't have control over that. It's not thick enough. The options are too wide. I get really picky. But someone else in the Q&A is saying ASTS, which is one of my picks. It had a big 13, 14, 15% 15% surge today on some news that was really, I didn't even notice it because to me, this doesn't matter. This is a big picture play for fundamental reasons. So I really like this name it's the anti-Musk. It's a competitor of Starlink and it's satellites. And it is not something that's on many people's radar because it's also pre-profitable. Anyway, long story short, this does not excite me. Like I ignore this because I think this is going to be bigger picture, longer term play for fundamental reasons. And it's coming from here, right? Anyway, I look at this and I see, okay, I know people get excited about a 15% surge, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's right back down. This is going to be a while, but I have the fundamental confidence in a name like this to stick with it. Hopefully that makes a difference. You're playing RCAT because it's hot.
Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description. Watch the full Options Macro to Micro Power Hour episode by clicking on the video here and subscribe to 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 YouTube channel for more content.